Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 Takeaways episode with my boy Alex Judd that I interviewed this past Monday, or released this past Monday. One of my favorite interviews that I've actually ever conducted because it was super special. If you guys didn't watch the video or hear on the podcast, I was able to go to Ramsey Solutions, Dave Ramsey's headquarters down here in Nashville or down in Brentwood, and they have a specific podcast that Alex is the host of called the EntreLeadership Podcast, and they have their own studio that we recorded in. So instead of doing it in my bedroom, I was able to go down there in an official studio, and it was just super special and really cool opportunity for me that I was really grateful for and loved to be able to do. But Alex is just an awesome guy, super positive, super motivating, has some awesome stuff going on. So make sure you go follow him on Instagram at JuddOnTheRun, and make sure you go check out the EntreLeadership Podcast. I've listened to it a decent amount for business tips, entrepreneurship tips, and just kind of motivational material as well. But with that being said, let's get right into my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is something that I'm super passionate about, and it's gain clarity. And I'm going to kind of preface this with how it came up in the podcast. I asked him what are some of the commonalities between all the people that he interviews on the EntreLeadership Podcast, because they interview some of the most successful thought leaders, business people, entrepreneurs, things like that, authors in the entire world. And the second thing that he said was they all have dogged persistence. And I was like, how do they get dogged persistence? And he said they have a narrow focus because they have such clarity of vision. And he says a strategy can only be as clear as the vision it is pursuing. Because if you think about it, the only way you can create an action plan is if you know what you're creating an action plan for. So you kind of need that vision in order to be able to create the strategy in order to get there. And that's how I talk about getting closer to the best version of yourself, right? Is I think it's a daily process of trying to gain clarity first on what the best version of yourself looks like and is capable of, and then to create the action step based off of that, to be able to have some sort of narrow focus on how to get there. And I think it's really important to be able to determine what that vision looks like so you can see yourself moving a little bit closer, because when you see yourself moving a little bit closer, that's when you can determine that your action steps are working and that you get that positive motivation. Takeaway number 2 is don't work hard at being you. So the other thing he said that all these people have in common is they're professionals at being themselves. They're super authentic. And he said the kind of irony in it is the harder you work at being you, the worse that you're going to be at it. And I think a lot of us know the importance of authenticity and we try to be authentic. And so sometimes we work really hard at being authentic. But the reality of the situation is that the harder that you work at it, the more you're going to not be yourself. So I think the way that you kind of need to evaluate yourself, and the way that I evaluate myself, is when I'm in groups of people, or maybe when I'm posting on social media, I'm asking myself, is what I'm doing feeling forced? Is what I'm said feeling forced? Am I just saying this to get the approval of other people? Am I just posting this on social media to get the approval of other people because I think other people will like this content? Or am I doing it because it feels natural? And that latter part is what I always try to seek. I try to do things and say things and be things that feel natural, that feel in alignment with who I truly am. Takeaway number 3 is care about what the right people think. He said that the skill that the best version of himself has is he doesn't give a crap what other people think about them. But then he refined it a little bit because I kind of challenged him on that. I was like, I think that, and he agreed with me. It was like, there's got to be a point, though. Yes, we got to stop caring what other people think about it, but there's a point where that gets irresponsible, because we are responsible for other people, and we don't want to offend too many other people. Like there's a line with that as well that I'm not going to get into, but he said it's really about caring what the right people think. And then he dives into this idea that he's learned from a book called Resume Virtues versus Eulogy Virtues. So you guys need to just go back and listen to his explanation of those, because I don't want to botch that myself. So it's just about caring about what the right people think. And if you do that and you act in line with your true virtues, then that's when, if you feel confident in the fact that you're acting in alignment with your true virtues, then you can not care what people think after that. So again, guys, my 3 takeaways is gain clarity. because the only way that we can create the proper strategy is if we know what we're actually aiming at. If you don't know what you're aiming at, you're not going to be able to create a great strategy in order to get there. Takeaway number 2 is don't work hard at being you, because the harder you work at being yourself, the less you're actually going to be your true authentic self. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing feeling natural? Is what I'm doing feel in alignment with who I truly am? Takeaway number 3 is care about what the right people think. Yes, we need to stop caring so much what other people think, because at the end of the day, people don't care as much as you think they do, but there are certain people that you need to be responsible for and that you need to really care. Your family, your friends, your loved ones. Care about what they think. Care about what the right people think. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with my 3 takeaways. I hope you enjoyed the Alex Judd episode. If you haven't listened to it yet, make sure you go back and listen. It's a game changer. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you rate and review it. Make sure you share it with a friend. All these great things. This is a difficult time that we're in right now with the coronavirus. I know that a lot of us are struggling. There's a lot of tough times going on, but send them these positive messages. There's no better time right now than to spread positivity, to spread action steps that will allow us to be successful today. Because that's all we can do. We can be successful today because we don't know what even tomorrow is going to bring yet with all this uncertainty and with all the unknown. So be successful today. Share this with a friend. Get closer to the best version of yourself. I hope something here allows you to do that. I hope something in this episode gave you a little bit of clarity on what the best version of yourself looks like and could possibly be capable of, because only then are you going to be able to really create the great strategy and implement the tools that'll get you closer and closer to your best you.